Welcome back to the program. It's still Daybreak Africa, coming to you live from our Lagos studio of KAFTAN Television. Now is our discussion segment where we'll be talking about dance as a catalyst for economic growth of the country. To discuss this topic with us is one of our very own Clinton Ovunda, aka Zaddy Experience.
Yeah,
Hi,
100%.
Clinton, welcome.
How you doing?
Yes, Zaddy. Yes, I'll call you. Yes, I learned that way back in school. You were a dancer.
Yeah.
You majored in dancing. So I want to understand one thing. In some other climes, we have dancing companies or groups who dance, and then they didn't only just dance for fun, but they danced to make money. And the money was not just little money. They made plenty money that they made it even their profession. That this is my profession and I'm a dancer, and they make a lot of money out of it, a lot of exposure out of it. And it seems like it's an industry, a sector in entertainment industry, but not really looked at in this part of the world. But I guess in some past, dancing was being looked at somehow, but all of a sudden it just went out, fizzled out one way or the other. Now we just see dancing these things on TV and sometimes musical, videos and the rest of them. So what actually happened? How can dancing be now? How can it translate from just enjoying yourself to making money out of it?
Okay, dance is one very important aspect of entertainment. People don't know. For me, I know people don't know. I studied theater and film, and dance is one major angle of performance, because theater is all about performance. And talking about dance companies, this part of the world, we don't really appreciate it. As much as I always complain that we don't appreciate theater, when you go to other countries, including South Africa, there are people that are professionals. They make money, they live their daily life making theater productions. Some of them are theater actors. But in this part of the world, it is not really a thing. You have to be a movie actor before you can make money. If you're a theater actor, you will die hungry. That's almost the same thing with dancing. But there are still some selected few that have been able to make it out. People like Kafi, if you know about Kafi, and so many other persons, they've made it. Even Cora started as a dancer. But right now, it's not really dance. She's doing influencing, and that's what's paying her. But talking about dancing company, there are still a couple of them in Nigeria. I don't know if you've heard of Seki.
Seki. No.
It's a traditional dance troupe, kind of a company from South, Port Harcourt precisely, Okrika. They do the whole South tradition. They also dance in BB Niger one time. So we have very few of them. Very few of them. But it is not really, first of all, let me put it clear. Dance was part of the things that paid my bills through school.
Wow.
People don't know. Not basically the whole, I did cultural, I did secular, I did a couple of them, but because it was part of our routine. And then when I'm broke and I need money, those performances we went for, we used to call it private performances, because it's not part of our schoolwork. Sometimes our lecturers would take us for it, sometimes different kind of gigs outside. And I made a lot of money from it that could take me through school. So there is actually money in dance, but people don't know because they don't know how to get it, and because it is not really appreciated in this part of the world. In this part of the world, imagine you telling your parents, I want to be a dancer. They'll look at you like, you want to be a useless child. But outside the country, I mean, there are ballerinas. Professionally, they do nothing but ballet.
There are ballerina companies,
like there are ballerina companies. They are one of the people that make the most money. They sign people.
Yes.
The way football companies sign people and they pay you officially. The same thing with theater companies. And people make this money. But in this part of the world, I think Martina Dance Hall was doing a good job years back. Was one competition that was all about dance.
But then it fizzled out, I guess.
Fizzled out. And this thing is what, now the only way most dancers make money is by being content creators and what they call them, social media influencers, because they just dance. And right now it's working for them, because one of the most successful people in content creation and social media space are dancers. If you go on TikTok now, dancers, Instagram, dancers. And it's working for them. But the thing is, you now have to be famous before you can now start getting the money from content and from shows and all that. But dance industry in Nigeria is very difficult to break through.
I used to have this friend of mine back then in the uni. She belongs to a dance group then. I think, but that's cultural kind of, not secular. So whenever they have maybe a traditional marriage, white wedding to attend, she and her groups go, they perform, they dance, and then they get paid. But I think they don't. In this part of the country, like they don't really appreciate them a lot. they don't appreciate them a lot. Like the money being paid, they get for being paid, not really that kind of
they don't pay so
much. So I want to ask, is it a society, I'm sorry to cut you, is it a society thing, you know, like, you know, people choose, you know, what they feel is viable, what they feel is obtainable, like being a doctor is viable, well, being an engineer is viable, being even a teacher. People are looking down, except you are I say, this person is the principal of this school, and it must be a very big school, must be a school that is well known, must be that school that people feel, oh, if you are the principal, oh, you are the principal of this school, and so listen. But if you are a principal of one school that is just out there, they just see you as, oh, the teacher's reward is in heaven, you know, like that is how dance is seen. So is it a mental thing? Is it a societal change or a societal behavior?
Okay, I think it's a societal thing, not really a mental. It's a society. Okay, societal thing can also be a mental thing, because the way people think in a particular society affects you, even if you move into the society. Before you know, I mean, it's just like moving to Lagos. Before you know, you start behaving like a Lagosian.
Exactly.
So it happens. So it's something that happens with this part of the world. I mean, there's a reason why Premier League is so famous in England and football is not famous in England. You know, the football, the rugby. There's a reason why football, like normal soccer, some people call it,
Americans call it soccer.
Chinese call it soccer, Americans call it football. But now there's a reason why the normal Premier League is so famous in England. And there's a reason why American football, the one they run with, is so famous in America. There's a reason why basketball is so famous in America, not like in other places. There's a reason why combat sport like UFC is so famous there, not in other places. There's a reason why this hockey is so famous in India. You see, this thing, it all depends on what they value in that particular society. And dance is not something they value so much in the Nigerian society.
So that's why it doesn't make that how do you make that? How do we start making that a value?
Like what do you think are the strategies that can be implemented?
Because like I said, I know some years ago, you know, some of my friends who were in the artist village, NCAC, then had dance groups, you know, and they will tell me, man, they are going to Germany by next week to dance. You know, I see these guys, they don't live like flashy lives or whatever. They stay in the same place where there is mosquito, you know, it is mosquito infected and all this thing, but they are able to travel out of the country to go and dance in another man's country. Some dance there, I see them practice every day, and it sustained them for many years, until maybe I left that area and I didn't see them anymore, and I learned later that most of them fizzled out like that one way or the other. So what is the challenge? Why is it that we can't actually create that society? We can't create infrastructure for that kind of society. We can't create that kind of society to now turn into a money-making venture for not just that segment of the society, but also for the country.
Okay, let me explain one thing. I know most times when questions like this come up, we always want to rush to the government and say the government should do this. But sometimes I feel like let's get away from the government and speak to ourselves as individuals. I mean, as an individual person, the thing is, most people don't, when you don't believe in something, just like Kafi started her own story from small and she built up. Individuals can really put money into that. But the problem is, how do they get that money? So we need a proper standing where they can understand that you can actually put your money. Okay, let me give for an example. Lion King, we all know Lion King. Lion King, before he even became a movie, Lion King was a theater performance that was staged in South Africa for years. Lion King used to run as an episodic show in a theater in South Africa, and it ran for years. So like every Friday we would gather to watch episode 1. Because it went in a way that people now understood. Like me, I love theater experience. How many persons in Nigeria appreciate theater experience?
I do.
So exactly, you do, but not so many people. So many people, why do I go and gather with people and buy tickets and go and watch a show of how many minutes when I can just put on my TV and watch a movie? So you see what happens. We appreciate movie more than theater performance. That's the same thing with dance. But if we want to solve this problem, then let us take it away from the government, because I'm one of the people that believe in this idea that government cannot run a business. And Nigerian government have proven us right. So it's better they just even give all those things that they know are giving a problem, like gas, oil, to private people to run and, you know, give them, because a government cannot, they will end up embezzling everything. So let's forget about saying government should come and sponsor, government should do it. Individuals already have this money, should put their money in that angle. Theater performance. I put it to you that you might not make so much money in Nigeria. Outside Nigeria, they celebrate our culture than us. Asake dropped the song earlier this year. the yoga, and he got a lot of critique from Nigerians. But people outside the country loved that video because of the whole masquerade, the whole traditional juju dance and all those things. So when I saw the video, because I'm a creative, I'm a theater person, I could immediately, I just remember, Asake also studied theater and film, so I saw where this thing is coming from, because I'm looking at it from a creative angle. So many people, their problem was, this thing is too fetish, it looks too much juju, too much this, too much that. But the whites were so happy to see that culture. I put it to people today why Burna Boy is celebrated. It's not just because he's a good singer. It's not just because he has an amazing voice. Davido is also good. These other people are also good. But why? Because he gave them the feel of Africa. Davido and a couple of other people do the normal bomb song. These people, they have bomb songs everywhere. They have normal rap songs. They have naked women. They have love songs everywhere. What don't they have? African original songs. And that's why Angelique Kojo is always there in the Grammys. Burna Boy is always there in the Grammy. Check the songs that are taking Burna Boy mostly to the Grammy original African intentional songs. Talking about African, talking about our heritage. That's what got Burna Boy there. And that's one thing I always say. Most of the people, if you are looking to maybe start a dance company, don't just look at it from a local standpoint. Look at it to an international level, because I put it to you, especially if you're doing things that are traditionally related, people outside the country will appreciate you more than people in Nigeria. I've danced a masquerade dance before. I wore a masquerade. When I show it to people, they'll be like, you don't do. To we Nigerians now, juju, we don't want this. But if I show this to a white man, the first thing he will tell me, when are they doing this thing again? I want to come and watch. So if you're wanting to start that business, a dance company or dance business, one of the major things you should look at, social media is selling right now. Push for social media. Post on social media. Move for the international bodies. Don't look local, because locally, we don't appreciate what we have locally. And that's why most of them are failing. You're looking at local shows, they will invite you and give you 100K, and you people are 10 dancers. How do you share 100K? But when you're targeting an international body, maybe they have, like I had this Seki I told you, there was one time they went to Germany, they were paid very well. First of all, their flights were all booked by, it was my lecturer then that took them, he was the owner of it, he just started that company. He booked a flight for all of them, they went on a flight, they were paid very well. But the only problem was, after they came back from that one, they did not have more of that kind of shows. If not, I put it from then when I was in school till now, they would have been big boys if that they had, even if it's once every month, that kind of a show. But you see, because it's an international stuff, they got paid well. But that same thing, they have been doing it in different places in Nigeria, and they've not made so much. So I think the problem you need to understand is we don't appreciate what we have in Nigeria. Look international.
What about, I'm thinking, okay, since I think this Martina Dance Hall was from a private company, let's just say it's not a federal sponsored or that. Why not the federal government, if they can look into it, like even though bring some dance companies, like dance groups, sponsor it and all that, at least to be able to help people to boost them again into the
do you know why I don't like for anything the government coming into things like this? We might think, yes, the government should come, but have you not noticed a trend with when it has to do with Nigerian government and mostly African government? In fact, when it has to do with government, most of the money or the things they will try to sponsor, majority of it will get embezzled. If the government decide now, okay, let's bring 1 billion and give it to and create dance company for individuals, and maybe they want to create 500 dance company, 400 of that dance company will be ghost dance company. So that money will just go to, that's why I say remove the government from this space. I mean, the reason why Nigerian music is doing so well like it's doing is because it's individual bodies. Davido is Davido, Wizkid is Wizkid, Burna Boy is Burna Boy. That is the reason why our music is excelling, because Davido knows that this is me and my brand and my everything, I'm making the money, so he's putting his all. You understand? That is the reason why dance has not been able to do that much, because dance has to be with a couple of people. The only reason why some people that are making it in dance, Kafi, she's an individual, but she has people that she trains. So that's. But if you're saying they should come as a company, majority of the time, if the government get involved, corruption will get involved.
And I think the more people, I don't know why Martina Dance Hall fizzled out like that. I think more of those things should
more of those kind of shows.
Yes,
I used to have problem with
it was a very good program then, family show and all that.
Yes. I used to have problem with people that will come a couple of times and they will be like, Big Brother Niger, what is he giving? He has no morals. It's just people, adults kissing and sleeping with themselves. That whenever they start saying this and they're like, go out to me, I'm like, okay. Thank you very much. Why not you people revive those ones that you feel are teaching you something?
Exactly. Like, what's really happening?
You did not revive those ones. You don't have money to revive those ones. I am criticizing a single man that came out with his own business idea and started Big Brother Niger. It is not a government. It is not your business. It is one man's business. It is a strategy, and he's making money, and you're getting offended. You start your own and start your own educational program.
That's quite true. But I want us to look at infrastructure.
Yeah.
You know, in that regard, you know, in dancing regard, you find out that yes, even if you say okay, you can go out there and start this thing yourself.
Yeah.
But if there is, like you mentioned, the government. Yes, government does not have business being in government. But what government can do is provide the infrastructure, which means that government is the highest spender. They are the ones who can actually build a space where these dances people can just come and buy segment and say, okay, this dance company belongs here, this government, and then they pay some kind of remittance of a tax or something to the government because of the space they are using. This is an idea now to the federal government. I hope they are listening. So why can't the government build infrastructures to enable this kind of
okay, let me answer you. Do you realize that every state has an art council? Do you know what they do there? Dance is part of it. Dance is. When I came to Lagos, firstly, one of the first ideas I had was to go. I came as a youth corp. I was to go and serve in Lagos State Art Council. But when I came to Lagos and I looked at it, it changed because, just like I said, theater doesn't pay in Nigeria like it pays in other countries. Art councils is one of the like, if you watch when they always do, there's this if Lagos want to do a carnival, one of the first places it starts art council. Every state has its art council because it covers art, culture, dance, theater performances, drums, songs, artworks, and all those things. That's the reason for the art council. So firstly, every state has an art council. That's the reason. Like when you were talking about Zule Zoo, one of their major base then was art council. And most of those old artists, there's this other one, I'm trying to remember his name. It was always art council because that's where performances hold. And back then, as at the time of, I don't know if any of us, as at the time of Ubato Kunde, we used to call him the father of Nigerian theater because he was one of the earliest people. He was one of the people that changed so many hymns to Yoruba. He was one of the people that brought talking drums into church and all those. He was one of the people that converted English plays to African plays. And Fela and the rest learned from him, even if Fela was more of a singer. Ubat was a singer, he was also a dramatist, and he had his dancers. So as at then, it was still the era when people still believe in, let's gather together to have fun in a closed space. People would dance for us, people would sing for us, This generation, we don't really value it no more. I mean, I would always, me in particular, instead of me to go to a concert, I would rather tune to a channel and watch it. I have this idea that I don't go to a concert except it's work related because of my work. I can still always watch it on TV. So why stress myself? And I used to always tell people, I would only go to a show when I can afford table because I ain't doing no regular. I cannot go to a show around 9 and I'll stand till the next morning all because I want to see one celebrity. I will see you on TV. I will see you one day when I have an opportunity to interview you. That's my belief, and that's the belief of most Africans. As at the time of Fela, people still believe in gathering together to get entertained. Television has taken it away from us. Even right now, phone is taking away television. I don't know when last I sat down to watch it.
Yes.
I watch everything I want on my phone and on my laptop. People, I mean, even television now is fading out. So many people are no longer subscribing to cable. Netflix. On their phones, on their laptops. So you see that it has to do with changes. So you saying the government should build a building. Nobody will go to the building. The building will be used for different things. The only thing that still makes people gather right now. The only thing that still makes people gather right now in Nigeria is comedy shows. And the whole music, obviously I've told you that one is still one man thing. Comedy is basketball show, he will invite other comedians and pay them. Whiskey show, he will invite other artists and pay them. He will do it. That's still the same thing. That's a one-man thing. But dance is difficult to make dance a one-man thing. Dance is always a collective thing.
It's true.
Dance always a collective thing. And one thing with dance is always like a theater performance. You have the dancers, you have the set guys, you have the light guys, you have the sound guys, you have everything. So it's a collaborative effort, so it has to pay. One of the reasons why movie doesn't pay as much as music and comedy, why? It's almost like a theater thing. Collective group. everybody has to get from the profit. Unlike Davido's money is Davido's money. He pays who he wants to pay. So you understand, if you're saying the government should build a building, it will still not pay. The best is if you want to, I mean, young people are coming out. So many of these people on TikTok are making so much money. We don't.
So how do you get people to invest in that? Because you see, what you said, yes, maybe true, yeah. But the thing there is that we are now in this space doing this. Imagine we're private guys who are doing this. We need this kind of structure. We need all these sort of things, and maybe we cannot afford it, and it is built down like that. We need to do this, perfect this particular act. We'll be able to sell it out there. And so I feel the dancer too needs a space. He can't just create a space for himself, start outside, and then government officials will say, what are you doing there? Say they are dancing, no. Or some officials of an estate who they are dancing in the estate say, no, this is not acceptable in this estate, and that can also disperse them. So like you said, gone are the days when we have to gather that folklore thing, you know, of our grandparents who can actually gather us and tell us stories. They've all dispersed at this time. What we now know is individually we do our things, and we now feel it is okay, we can put it out there. But again, we need the support of the government to create that kind of space for people to operate. Because for me, the private businesses that did not go on, maybe because they could not afford the rent of the space, they could not afford to pay for the lighting, the electricity, to be in the power to generate electricity for that. Maybe dancing does not really need much, but then there's some dances that you see, you have to need do things electronically to do to show some certain things so that you can do something. Maybe they should also need accessible roads to get to where they are heading to. So all these things, I believe it is the government who is to provide those things, and then the private individuals invest in those things and then recoup their money.
I feel like Nigerian dance industry still has hope, because obviously you can't compare us to the whites. We still have hope because we are growing. I mean, right now, there are most of the people that are dancing, like I said earlier when we started, are dancing just for fun. Most people don't even know that people go to school to learn dance. I went to school for a 4 years course, even if in Nigeria I almost used 5 years or 6 years. And most of the people that study theater and film, they majored in dance. And they graduated, their final year project was a research on dance. So these people are people that are not just physical dancers. They also know the rules of dance. They know the theory. Dance has theories. People don't know. There are theories of dance. So this is the difference now. Let us still keep growing to the point. But I would advise any upcoming dancer, any aspiring dancer, the best place and the best space you have now is your phone, social media. Because firstly, before you can do anything, before you can pull anything, pull your crowd first. Because I put it to you, there's this speedy girl that's trending on TikTok now. She's a dancer with her boyfriend. They are dancing. She opened a Facebook page, and you know Facebook is one of the highest paying when it comes to content creation. And in less than a week, she already grew more than 100,000 followers. I mean, I'm sure she doesn't know anything about theory of dance. She doesn't know anything about putting a dance performance. She was just dancing and became famous. So if she can like collabo, permit me to use that word, with someone that is a theoretical inclined person in dance, they can allow her know that you already have the face, you already have your audience. But do you know that you can put up a dance event, just like a comedy event, just like a music show? They do it outside the country. You don't have to be the only dancer. You can bring different dancers together. You can bring someone that's a professional in choreography. There are people that are professional directors, not just directors, but choreographers. So I will put a dance show. I watched the movie and they did Romeo and Juliet, you know the play. They converted it to a dance show. And they told the story through dance.
That's dance drama.
Yes. And they did it in a unique way. They rewrote the story. You can also do that. Most people in Nigeria don't know. They're just dancing. I can dance. I just know I can dance. They don't know that there are a lot of things. And that's the thing. If individuals that are grounded in this knowledge come together with the individuals that can dance and already have the face, and they put a show together, I put it to you that Speedy, for example, for those of you that are TikTokers, Speedy has over 1 million followers on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Facebook. if she put out today that I'm doing a dance show, just like Basketball Life or any other show, and I'm doing a full production on dance, maybe Romeo and Juliet, a dance performance on it, and we would have other, and maybe she put, Kafi would also be there with her group, these other dancers. She has more than 20,000 followers, all her social media platforms together. If she can get only 1 million of them to buy her ticket, she has started a new era for dance. She has started a new era for dance. Other people would follow in that footstep. And the way Basket Mouth is doing his show, AY is doing his show, dancers will also hold their own show. But nobody has been able to break through that space. Because mostly, this thing is what always happens to us that kind of studied something related. We come out, and when we look at the struggle, my lecturer will be like, you study theater, you're working in the bank. What are you doing there? Now, people that are just talented, that don't have the theoretical knowledge, the knowledge on how to put this thing, they are just dancing for fun, and now they have the crowd and the face. So it's all for the people that have the knowledge and people that have the exposure and someone that has the money to pull the stunt.
Well, I think that's the much we can take from this interview. Thank you so much,
thank you so much for joining us.
It is quite interesting. You have to tell us so much about dancing. Yeah. And I would advise anybody out there, dancing is important. And if you want to learn dancing, go to the school, learn it. Learn both the theoretical part and also the practical part of dancing. And dancing is also an industry that people should actually look at, that is worthwhile, that can actually give you something out there.
So that will be all for the interview segment. Thanks to Clinton for doing justice to that topic. We'll go on a short break now. When we come back, Daybreak Africa continues. Please stay with us.